Okay, hi, I'm John, and I had the focal laser ablation procedure in January of 2017. I was surprised in the summer of 2016 to learn that my PSA had gone up to over 12. At that point, I consulted one of the top cancer hospitals in the country and had a 3T MRI. That showed that I had a Gleason score of 3.4, and more concerning was the fact that I had cancer in all 6 sectors of my prostate. At that point, I became pretty serious about what was I going to do about it. I consulted a couple of the top prostate cancer surgeons in the country. I consulted with NIH, and I consulted with some other prostate cancer experts. And I did an awful lot of research, internet research mostly, and I discovered the work that Dan Sperling is doing. I ultimately decided that this procedure had some advantages for me, and I talked to Dan Sperling, and he was very good and very open about what he could and couldn't do. And he was one of the only people that felt that this procedure could be done on multiple sectors of the prostate. And not only that, but would not have side effects of the type that anyone looking at prostate cancer is familiar with. Yeah, I actually talked to 2 of the country's top prostate cancer surgeons, both a radical prostatectomy surgeon and a robotic surgeon. Both said I was a candidate. I talked to one of the top radiation oncology practitioners, and I was a candidate for that. What I didn't like about both of those approaches ultimately was the potential side effects, which virtually everyone who's had those procedures has. Both urinary incontinence problems and sexual function problems. The alluring thing about the focal laser ablation procedure was that it avoids both of those side effects, and that's been my experience. So I decided to go ahead and do the procedure, which I did at the end of January 2017. The procedure went just as advertised. There was a little discomfort the first evening, but that went away quickly, and basically didn't feel anything else. And I've just come back from having my 6 months checkup. First of all, I was encouraged my prostate, which had the PSA score had been 12, went down to 0.7, and the follow-up MRI showed that there was absolutely no cancer cells remaining. So I'm feeling pretty good about the decision and the whole procedure.
Well, it was probably one of the most scary days of my life when John came home, and in a very quiet manner said, my PSA is 12. And he just went on about eating dinner, wasn't worried at all, where I dropped to the floor, called all the girls and the grandchildren. John is a very stoic person, businesslike, and he went about searching the internet, doing all the necessary reading while the rest of us were concerned but wouldn't speak about it. We didn't tell most of the neighbors or friends. But right now, after yesterday, he certainly has a smile on his face, a little bit of a lilt in his walk, and he's just a happier man. I'm a happier woman. This is a family disease, and it really did devastate our daughters, because John is the picture, or was the picture of health. He is now. He never drinks, he doesn't smoke, he has a proper diet, he exercises every day. So when you get the news, it's devastating. I felt comfortable because I did go to all of the different doctors' meetings with him, whether it be at Hopkins and IH, and I knew that the information that he was getting and the questions he was asking would lead to the right outcome, and they certainly did.
One of the things that I found at the time I was looking was that there were places starting to do clinical trials in focal laser ablation. And that encouraged me that it was a legitimate technique. It was just we were pretty much still on the cutting edge. But the reason I chose Dan Sperling was because experience, like in anything of this complicated nature, experience is very important. Prostate cancer is a funny thing because I've never had any symptoms of it. That was why it was such a shock when I first was diagnosed with it, because there wasn't anything to indicate that other than the PSA test. What I would suggest is that when you do get this first bad news, you take it very seriously and look at all of the options. There are a whole bunch of options, ranging from surgery and radiation to laser techniques, and there are a number of others. Fortunately, we're in the internet age, and there's a ton of information available. And if you have the time and the access to look at the options, lots of other people have gone through the same thing, and that's important.